Hello, people. Welcome to the Sunday Comic Investment Chat or Investment Talk, as I titled it. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Woody Warren. Ian, Joker68, Brian Spaceboy is here, as well as Who Dats. Well, maybe not Who Dats. He said he's going to watch it on the rewind. He just got out of work. My goodness. Good morning. This is my second cup of coffee. I usually get up around 6:30, and that's the first cup of coffee. And then at around 8:30 or 9 o'clock, it will be the second cup of coffee. I usually drink 4 cups of coffee a day. One early, one right now, one after lunch, and one after dinner. That's just me. Been doing that for decades. Anyhow, welcome to the Sunday Investment Chat. I did not. Um, hello, who that? Originally, I did not plan to have a chat this Sunday because I had one last week. I figured every other week would have been sufficient. But given what happened in the stock market this past week, I figured it is a good time to chime in and talk a little bit about the market for those that are interested in stock market talk. I used to have a channel. I used to have a channel with very few subscribers. I think at the most I had like 30 something. Okay. And I used to make 1 or 2 videos a week talking about the stock market. But, I lost interest in doing that because very few people listened to what I had to say. And B, the participation level was near zero. Uh, so what's the point? What's the point of talking about the stock market when nobody's listening? um, but there are enough people on this channel that has some interest in the stock market as well as investing in comic books that I thought it'd be good to combine the topic. Well, last Sunday, we heard the news that President Trump may have come to some kind of agreement with China as far as trading and tariff, and that's where there was a lot of built-in expectation with what can happen with the stock market, right? There was some people in the chat room that talked that as well. I talk about how I like the potential of investing in the stock market given what's just happened. And we saw what happened. And for those that watch my supplementary video that I posted a couple days ago, that give you a link to a video that I made way back in the summer of 2015. And that tidbit of the ins and outs of how the stock market work is very appropriate to what happened this past week. Um, but let's just recap. One of the biggest mistake, well, the first rule of investing, the first rule of trading, for me, okay, I can't say that for other people. For me, the first and foremost, most important rule of trading or investing is to not lose money. I don't approach trading or investing in anything, whether it's the stock market, whether it's comic books or real estate. I do not approach with what if I can lose half? What if I, no, there's no what if I can lose half. That's a defeating belief or behavior that in the long run, you will not be successful in the trading arena if you approach it with the I can afford to lose half, I can afford to lose this much. No, the number one rule is to not lose money. Does that mean that I don't lose money trading or investing? Absolutely not. I lose all the time. But it is a rule I stick by. And the best way to avoid losing a lot of money is not breaking the rules. Stock trading is a lot like playing blackjack or any kind of gambling at the casino. There are rules to stick to, and there are things to not do to get yourself in big trouble. Okay? I can't preach enough to young traders out there that want to be in the game. A lot of people see a lot of potential to make money in the stock market or comic books, and they go out there and do the dumbest thing and lose money. The best thing that you can do as a trader is learn the rule, avoid making a big mistake. You will make mistake. I have made plenty of mistake on a daily basis trading, but cut your mistakes small, cut your loss small, and let your winner run. There's a lot of cliche that I can throw in as far as trading the market, but I try my best to stick to my rule of not losing money. And by doing so, that's helped prevent me from making huge losses or get huge losses. And let me call up something, a chart that I put together for this video. Okay, so let me see if I can figure out how to share it correctly. Let's see if I can do it. Here we go. All right, this is this past week from Monday through noon. Okay, I put this chart together around noon on Friday, because if I put it together by the end of Friday, you would have seen the market. This is the S&P 500. Okay, this is a chart of the S&P 500 of the past 5 trading days. For those that will listen to this on the podcast later, I will try my best to talk about the chart so that you understand what is on the screen. On the screen is the 5 days performance of the S&P 500. Last Sunday, when we talk about the potential return in the stock market because of the talk between China and US, sure enough, there was a huge gap up on Monday morning at 9:30. And if you watch my video that I linked a couple days ago, one of the biggest mistake that anyone can do is buy on that gap up. Avoid FOMO. Avoid the fear of missing out. Okay, that is your worst enemy in stock trading, and it is also your worst enemy in comic investing. Okay, there's a lot of similarity in here. Paying the all-time high in comic books on any books is asking for trouble if you have a short-term horizon. If you buy a comic book at the all-time high and think that you're gonna make money in 6 days or 6 weeks, think again, please. So avoid fear of missing out. See what happened? If you violate violate that rule that I outlined in that video 3 years ago, that do not buy at the gap up. Do you know what the high for the entire week was? Right there. If anyone, every single person that bought into the market at 9:30 to 9:45 on Monday morning get crushed like a pancake, like an ant, like a dead bug. Okay, so don't make that mistake again. If you made that mistake, don't do it ever again. Just remember it. I'm sure it was painful. Just remember the rule. Avoid buying on the gap up because all you see is a trend down. Now, what if you were panicking and you see a big gap down? See this? On Thursday morning, there was a huge gap down. The same significant as a gap up on Monday morning. On Thursday morning, there was a huge gap down at 9:30. Once again, what does my rule say? Do not do anything. Please, I can't stress enough. Selling on a panic is for monkey. Okay, monkeys do that. Do not sell into a gap down in a panic, because you see this green line going up. That is your chance to get out at a higher price if you choose to say, I have had enough. Okay? There are chances. The market will give you chances to exit. Panicking, acting irrational, acting stupid is not a formula for success in comic investing or stock trading. Either way, nothing but stupid, okay? Nothing but stupid. You know my favorite saying, stop the stupid. But guess what? The market behaves this way because a lot of people cannot stop themselves from doing the wrong thing. And for full disclosure, you know when I buy? I bought, I went in and start to add position to my SPY, my S&P 500 ETF at 265, right around. Sure, right now the S&P SPY is at 263 and change, so it went down roughly almost 2 points from where I entered my position. Not a big deal. I avoided the carnage from 280. Okay, the S&P 500 peak at 280 down to 263 as of right now. I got back in at 265. I am fine with that position. We'll see how that will pan out in the next few days or weeks or months. But I'm very comfortable building a position right now. Okay. When it comes down to the market, there's a lot of stocks. Okay. There's a lot of stocks to buy, to choose from. Just like in comic books, there are tons of books to choose from. But for the stock market, do you know that the majority, by the term majority, like 80% or more of the hedge fund, the mutual funds, 80% cannot beat the S&P 500. Cannot in a 5 year, 10 year, 15 years, 20 years time frame. That's why the SPY is one of my favorite trading vehicle, because it's much easier to trade the SPY than any individual company for me. Okay, for me, I remove the risk of individual companies with bad news or whatever. I prefer to trade the S&P 500. That's not to say that I don't own individual stocks, because I do, but the majority of my portfolio is in the S&P 500. I don't waste my time trying to research 5,000 companies out there. Good as gold in the chat room say, I grabbed some stuff on Friday. Good man. Okay. Good move. If anyone that buy on Friday on that carnage down, okay, right here, this big down trend is Friday. There's nothing wrong with that. You may have buy at the top on Friday, you may have buy at the middle on Friday, but heck yeah, it's a lot better than buying on Monday or Tuesday, right? Heck yeah. So if you buy some stuff on Friday, especially the last 2 hours on Friday, believe it or not, a good time to buy is between, for who asked the question, when is a good time to buy during the day? In the afternoon, okay? Especially late Friday when a lot of traders decided that they don't want to hold the position overnight. They rather go into a flat cash position and they blow out the portfolio to be in cash, regardless of the gain or loss. That's when there's a good chance to grab up some really deep bargain. Okay, so I grabbed some S&P at 265, and then I grabbed some more at 263 at the low, but not enough to balance out my average cost. Regardless, I'm pretty happy with my average just below 265. Who Dad asked a question in the chat room. When do you think the market will pick up? That's the question I cannot answer or have the answer. Okay. The market, I can, I can understand the general trend. I'm a technician of the market in many ways that I can understand the big move, when to get in and when to get out. But as far as, answering the question like when is it going to be, you know, when the market will stop going down, there is no answer to that. Okay. That's one of the things that I think a lot of people that invest in the stock market just don't understand in general is that market can go down for a long time. We are down roughly 11% from the high this year. Roughly 11%. It's been rough. Can we go down another 10%? Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. Can we go down 10% more from here? Absolutely. What would I do? The question is, can the market go down or when the market will rebound? That's not the question that I think about. What I think about is when I make the investment on Friday, what would I do if the market go down another 10%? Okay, that's what I think about. And what I think about is buy more if the market go down 10%. That's what that's a discipline that I stick to. Okay, I don't buy when other people are all bullish, and I certainly don't panic when people are worried. I have friends that I told over the years they are my market indicator. When they email me with panics emails, when they email me with questions like, Nick, is it too late to sell? Those are the indicators for me to say it's time for me to buy, because you guys don't email me or ask me question when the market is up, but when you are in panic mode, I like that. That's the indication for me to buy. If there is panic selling tomorrow, and it can be, depend on the news, a lot can happen between now and 9:30 a.m. tomorrow. The way President Trump tweets and the way China react, who knows? Be prepared. That's the best advice I can give people is with the stock market, be prepared. Now with the comic market, luckily for most of us, it is not as crazy. It can be volatile. It is volatile, but it is not. Okay, I can stop showing this chart, right? With the comic market, it is not as crazy. When it comes down to comic investing, now that we segue into just comic investing talk instead of spending, uh, I figure I've spent the first 15-20 minutes talk about the stock market, and that's enough, right? Um, when it comes down to comic investing, there's a lot of similarities. As I always pointed out, there's a lot of similarities and analogy that you can draw from the stock market. And one of them that I think I don't stress enough is knowing when something is of value. Okay. There are all kind of videos telling people what's keys, what books are keys. Okay. There are even smartphone application that will tell you, which issues are keys. Give me a second. I think I heard my son getting out of bed. So let me talk to him real quick. false alarm, he's still in bed. It's only 8:50, and as you can tell, normally at this time of a day in Florida, you have great sunlight. I love it, but today is a weird day. It is overcast as if it is 6 p.m. right now, as if we're gonna have a big rainstorm. So it's dark outside. That's why I had to use the light that Patrick gave me. Good morning, Scott Farr and Luther Manning. Um, Back to knowing value in comic books. You know, there's a lot of applications, there's a lot of videos telling you what keys they are. But I think a lot of people, even if they know what books are keys, they do not know what value is. Okay, they can't tell if a book is cheap. A lot of people, they know, oh yeah, we know, Batman Adventure 12 is a key book. But if I show you a book and tell you that this book is X dollar, are you able to determine that that book is a bargain? That is where I think a lot of comic investors need to brush up on. I can tell you 9 out of 10 times when I ask somebody that questions, regardless of what book it is, it can be X-Men 1 or Hulk 1 or Batman Adventure 12 or you name it, any keys, even small keys. A lot of time people can't answer if they think that is a good value or not. And I think that's how a lot of people miss out on a lot of books that they can buy to flip. Okay. If you are in this hobby and actively in the market buying and selling, I can't stress enough. You better know the value or figure out a way to find out if something is of value, if something is cheap. It's pointless to know if something is a key if you don't know the price is cheap or not. Pointless. Absolutely pointless. I don't need to watch another video telling me what books are keys. I do not need that. Okay. I think most people would agree with me. They know what books are keys. Unless it is a modern book that just came out last week, like Batman with a dong. Okay. Do anybody need to know that Hook 181 is a key? Not me. And I'm pretty sure 99.999% of the YouTubers out there don't need to know Hook 181 is a key. Certainly, they don't need to repeat that it is a key. Good morning, Cougar. Um, he has a question. Anyone here of someone trying to corner the market on a single issue? Yes. Good days go. There was someone in the market for years trying to buy up as many Submariner and Iron Man 1 as he can. He was very active on the CGC forum for a long time. An interesting character. He certainly has drawn a lot of attention, some haters, some dislike, some fan, some curiosity. But there was a guy on the CGC forum for many years that hoarded with who knows hundreds of issues of that copies. It's pointless. Okay, my advice is for many Silver Age books that were printed in the hundreds of thousands, trying to corner a few hundred issues is not gonna change that market. You know, I'm pretty sure he sold a lot of books before the big bump that we saw in recent months or years. So uh, I'm not sure if he's still, you know, trying to hoard them because I don't see or hear him much on the CGC forum. But um, yeah, it's not. If if you follow the CGC forum, certainly you have seen a few people with crazy horde amount of many different copies, whether it's New Mutant 98 or Submariner, Iron Man #1. There are guys that will show up pictures of, you know, big stash of something. So they try and they will fail because they can't really control the market. Now, different story if you have a short box of Amazing Fantasy 15. That's a different story, but that still won't corner the market. You can't really corner a comic market because there are so many copies out there. Okay, it's a futile exercise, and I would recommend, sure, if you're smart enough to buy 10 copies of Amazing Fantasy 15 10 years ago, you probably make good profit on them. But having 10 copy is not hoarding or trying to corner the market. Yeah, I mean, one of my biggest pet peeve, and I'm sure I will offend a whole lot of people on YouTube by saying this. One of my biggest pet peeve is hearing the explanation, the annotation to any keys on YouTube. If you follow my channel, if you follow many videos I make, I do not, for the most part, I can't recall if I ever even did once explain what a book is. Okay, I know a lot of people do it. It's a common thing on YouTube. So I'm not saying that other people are wrong to do this. I just don't do it because it's my pet peeve. I don't need to watch a video of anyone showing me a Hulk 181 following by the sentence, the full first appearance of Wolverine. Huh? Who didn't know that? Yeah, it sounds arrogant to say that, oh, I don't need to hear that because I know it. But seriously, even the people that are offended at that comment I just made, do you think that you are adding something of value? Seriously, unless you're talking to a 10-year-old that have never read a comic books. I'm not about to give information that is already known. It's wasted breath to me. But that's my take. That's why on my haul videos or any videos, you know, I don't really end every books at the end of saying what the number it is with a following description of what the book is. Okay, I make myself clear on how I don't like to do that because to me it's just like, here's my Amazing Fantasy 15, the first appearance of Spider-Man. Really? Even my son, when he was 6 years old, knew that. So it's not news. It's not. No one need to annotate that book. Back to the topic at hand is, my one of the most useful advice that I can give to people is knowing the value of something. Okay, if you know, and the thing is, it's no way to know everything. Okay, I'm not saying that you need to know. Oh, a Fantastic Four issue 4 for X dollar is cheap. You don't. There's no way. There's no way for any of us to know everything. But if there is a strength, if there's an area of interest to you, then you should know. For example, Reaper Tate, Anthony, who appear on my chat every Wednesday, he has a strong interest, deep love for EC. Okay, there's no secret on that. And I'm pretty sure if you tell him any given key books of EC, he would know what would be of value. He would know what is cheap and what is expensive. And that's the best way that many people in this hobby that is interested in investing or flipping need to do. You need to intimately knowing what something is worth so that if you see it in a while, if you see it on eBay or Comic Link, if you see something that is going for cheap, then you know you can buy it and flip it, right? It is That's how things are done. I mean, I am not doing anything. I'm not buying many things in secrets where it's not available for other people to see. Sure, I have two dealers that are very good, that I have very good contacts with, and they're not shy to contact me privately and say, "Hey, Nick, I bought something. I just bought in a new collection. I know you like high grade Silver Age, or you like Silver Age books. Are you interested in buying these things? You get first dip." Yes, I do have two contacts such as that, but I also buy a lot of stuff from many online places, um, that many people, if not everyone, have access to. The only difference is I recognize the value before someone else did. That's it. I don't get the chance to buy the cheap stuff all the time. I miss out on many cheap stuff, but for those that know me, uh, such as Patrick and Anthony, I show them all the time the stuff that I buy for cheap and the places that I buy them. It's not a secret to anybody. I'm not going to announce them to the public. I don't need any more competition there. But at the end of the day, it's about seeing value and be able to jump on it quickly when I recognize that it is of value. You know, if you don't know, if you knowing a book is a key is not enough. That's the main point of this topic. Okay, it is not enough to know, oh, Hook 181 is a key. Well, do you know if a 5.0 for 1500 is cheap or not? That is more important. Okay, stop obsessing yourself with what books are keys. Knowing the value of what the price is cheap or not is more paramount than knowing what 800 keys there are out there. Just saying. Absolutely. The comic book guy, welcome to the chat. He said that you need to know when it is undervalued. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's more important to know the value of something so that you know when something is undervalued or when something is overvalued. It's harder to determine when something is overvalued, for sure. But knowing the value of anything, especially the area of interest to you to invest or to flip, is absolute must. There is no such thing as buying something and say, "Oh, I'm buying this for the long term, so I don't really care what it is right now. I just want to have it." What? That's like the worst advice ever. Okay, if anyone walking around say, "Oh, if your view is long term, just buy it and then in 10 years it's gonna worth more." No, there are things that go down. Even with one thing about comic books that a lot of people don't realize is as volatile as the stock market is. Comic books is very volatile in its own way. Like if you look at if you have GPA, if you have GPA and you take a look at any given books like New Mutant 98, okay, it will be surprised to you to see the range of books of New Mutant 98 that are sold in the past 2 years is huge. Okay, a 9.8 copy can be three, $400 apart as far as the low and the high. Huge differences, huge differences. As much as I don't care to own or invest in a New Mutant 98, 9.8, if I see a 9.8 copy, three or $400 below fair market value, you bet You bet I'm buying it. Okay. I don't care if someone thinks it's an ugly book, ugly cover. I don't care. I see opportunities, I buy it. And that's the thing, a lot of people in this hobby are they have blinders on. They focus only on things they like. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. Focusing on things you like is fine. But when you do so, there's a very likely chance you are missing out on a lot of opportunities. I have talked to a lot of people that tell me, oh, I saw this book for X dollar, but I don't collect that. So I skipped it. Huh? No. If you have the money and you see a book that you can quickly flip for a couple $100 more, then hey, if you don't want to flip, if flipping comic book is not your things, I understand that completely. But there are people that are in this hobby for flipping, selling, profiting, all that stuff. But then they also would pass up on things that they don't focus on. That's when I go, huh? No, that's dumb. Okay, to be polite, that's dumb. If you are in this hobby to flip, to sell, to profit, to buy it on the cheap, then you better not be too narrow in your focus. Just saying. Uh, Mr. Miracle said, learning how to use eBay properly so you can find the deals. Yes, there are a lot of tips and tricks. And I think many people have pointed them out on many videos on eBay that um, you can use. I have my own. Uh, eBay has, certainly has changed a lot over the past 20 years. I have been using eBay since 1998. Gosh, it's been that long. Insane that it has been 20 years. Certainly, there's a lot of things that had changed with eBay. In the early days, it's so much easier to find bargains because error listing, people that misspell things, those things are so easy to spot, and so many people miss on them. But now a lot of people know to look for things that are misspelled. So certainly, when a listing is misspelled, you know, I'm not the only one that see it, right? So it's the longer things go, the more competition there are on eBay. But certainly there are plenty of deals to be had on eBay on a daily basis. One of the reasons why I try not to go on eBay as often as I used to is that I just don't want to buy anymore because I can go on eBay and in 15, 20 minutes find a few things that I can easily buy that I can profit from, whether it's $50 or $100 or whatever it is. There are things that I can buy to flip, but I rather not. Joker 68 said, I have trouble knowing the value of Golden Age books. You're not alone, Joker, Kurt. Uh, Golden Age books are not, they don't sell frequent enough to gather enough data. Okay, that's the hardest part about Golden Age books is that are just not enough data. And I don't like to use GPA in many ways when it comes down to Golden Age books. You know, to me, anything that is beyond 3 months is not useful. I hate dealing with people that say, "Oh, in recently, I was someone was trying to buy something from me, and he quoted a book, a Golden Age book. I was not selling anyway. It's not as if I'm selling, but he quoted me a GPA price from the closest, most recent sales back in 2016. Really? No, I don't care what happened in 2016. This is 2018. And yes, there is no data, for the past 16 months, I don't care. Whatever is on GPA is garbage. Simon Comic, hello. He's asked, isn't it easier just to buy collection for cheap? It's it's easier, but it's harder. Okay, it's not it's not often that you would have a collector that say, I had enough. I just want to blow out my 5,000, 8,000, or how many thousands of books. It's not that easy. It's not that many collectors. And when they do that, okay, when a collector said, I have had enough, or for example, if a collector die or pass away and his widow, say, oh, gee, he have, a basement full of comic books, they often contact local comic book store or Heritage or Comic Connect or Comic Link. So they exist. Those opportunities do exist, but as private collectors that we are, we don't get first dip in those things. We don't see them. Okay. My favorite dealers, he see them probably 3 or 4 times a year where he has somebody walk into his store and say, I have 5,000 books from my ex-husband. He passed away 3 years ago. I don't know what to do with them. Yeah, that can happen to a store. Those people, they just don't seek out, sure, can I place an ad on Craigslist like 5,000 other people are doing on a daily basis? Yes, I can do that. I can get lucky, but those are far and few in between, very far and few in between. So as much as I like to say that, I like to buy a whole collection, that doesn't happen often enough. But here's a kicker, and it comes down to the conversation I had with Knights of Old a couple days ago. Is I made a comment that when it comes down to investing, the rich get richer, and it take money to make money. And it's a cliche statement that I think can sound offensive to some people, like the rich get richer. It take money to make money. Yeah, that's two of the cliches that I often threw out there, whether it is stock trading or comic investment. It takes money to make money. The rich get richer because at the end of the day, if and when an opportunity show up at your door, somebody say, hey, your neighbor knock on your door, say, I know you collect comic books. My husband just passed away and he has 5,000 Golden Age books in the basement. What should I do? What would you do? Okay. Do you have the money? Do you have the fund to buy it? Okay. That this is where it takes money to make money. How many people, if and when are presented with the opportunities to capitalize on a collection, can step up and do it? How many? I guarantee you a lot of people can't. Okay. And that's the kind of statement that I know can and will offend some people, but that's just the facts of life. If someone that have an idea of something that is worth something, they're not gonna sell that collection for you for $100. Okay, so do you have a few $1,000 ready and willing and able to buy something? That's where it takes money to make money, and that statements apply to everything. Think about how the housing market blew up in 2008. What happened in 2007, 2008 when the market went crazy? It's because flippers, speculators, people that was buying home without money, with no money down, they trying to make money out of nothing. That's what happened, okay? That's what happened. A bubble is created because there's a whole lot of people trying to make money out of nothing. That's the end result of speculation madness. I agree, Kurt. I used to put a few ads on Craigslist in the early days. Like by early days, I mean like 2008, 2009. I bought two collections in 2008, 2009. I bought two. One was about 3,000 Silver Age books, um, and one was about 5,000 Bronze books. So I had some success buying collections with Craigslist. So I thought, oh, maybe I put an ad out there on Craigslist, and before I know it, there are dozens of ads competing with me. I got a few phone calls here and there, and I have no interest in buying any bin, plastic tubs of stuff that people thought was vintage stuff. And so, yeah, I got a few of those phone calls, and after wasting time driving, you know, all over the place, I quickly learned that it's a waste of my time. Absolutely a waste of time. Simon Comics said that I buy Golden Age books, but I won't be able to sell them. Well, hopefully you'll get over that someday. Hopefully, because as you get older, right? Certainly not everything that you buy. Well, hopefully you will run across some stuff that could be Golden Age, but it's not something you like that you can buy and flip. So trying to approach the hobby that way, at least that's my approach, was I like comic books, but as I mentioned many times on my channel, I collect money. Okay. That might sound offensive to many, but make no mistake, without money, there is no comic books in my life. Let's see. I just look at the time, it's 9:17, so I'm 13 minutes away from ending this chat. So I appreciate everyone that tuned in so far and listen. I will load this podcast on my channel later today for those that want to listen to it later on the rewind. Um, let's see. The number of people, this is good as gold, commented, the number of people who bought early Silver Age stuff off the rack are dwindling. I wonder how that will impact the market. I don't know. I have heard about this since 2008. Since I returned to the hobby in 2008, I have heard, oh, the market is going to crash because the supplies are going to crush the demands because the boomer, the baby boomer generation are dying off and the collection is going to flood the market, blah, blah, blah. I have heard this for 10 years. It's, is this going to happen? It still can happen. Okay. But so far, the market has been there to absorb the inventory, especially the keys. Otherwise, the keys wouldn't be going up. Okay. Now, the opposite is true for the non keys. I mentioned last week where, you know, low grade, mid grade, silver age, or bronze age non keys are dirt cheap and they will stay dirt cheap. I don't see any reason for them to go up. Okay, I'm gonna be blunt about it. If you're buying non-keys, silver age, bronze age, especially low grade books, you're buying them because you love them. You're buying them to complete runs. You're certainly, and I am certainly not advocating people to buy them as good investments because supplies are going to keep hitting the market. Okay, as far as what good is gold talk about. Yes, more people are going to pass away, more collection are going to hit the market, more of those books are going to hit the market. But unlike the keys, there are not going to be enough buyers out there to soak up the inventory. That's why prices for those books over the past 10 years have stagnated. Stagnated. Okay, so I would say, you know, the trend is not going to change. I don't see any reason for those books to change as far as the demand. I sure are there still collectors out there that buy runs? Yes. The answer is not. They're all gone. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. But I certainly see less and less collectors out there focusing on building a full runs of anything. So as long as the supplies keep increasing and the demands are less, you're not gonna see a rise in prices. Okay, it still boils down to my most common saying on this channel: supplies and demands. Okay, indeed, good as gold. It is good news for us completists. It's nothing wrong with buying stuff to complete a run and seeing no value, appreciation in them. Not everything that I buy in this hobby is about money. I collect money. I love money. I love profit. Who doesn't? Who doesn't? Anyone that doesn't agree with that statement, yeah, you can live in your own la la land. But hey, it's your own la la land and it's a free country, so you can live in your own la la land. You don't have to listen to me, right? I don't expect everyone to listen to my chat to agree with everything I say. In fact, I would presume that a whole bunch of people don't agree with what I say and probably dislike many things that came out of my mouth in the past 45 minutes. Congratulations, Kurt, for finishing your Werewolf by Night run. Good luck, Simon Comics, on trying to complete his Golden Age run. That's tough. You know, when I start to dabble in Golden Age books, the thoughts of trying to complete any runs never cross my mind because it's just too many, too expensive. Even though many Golden Age books are not crazy expensive, but can you imagine trying to complete a run of Batman, Golden Age Batman run, like 160 something? I'm not sure what the cutoff date is for Silver Age Batman, but let's assume that it's stopped at 150. Okay, trying to complete a run of Batman from 1 to 150 is gonna cost a lot of money. For sure, Batman 1 is gonna crush a lot of people. And then luckily, unlike many Marvel books, there's not a whole lot of keys. That's one thing about DC Silver Age and Golden Age books. There's not a lot of keys, thankfully, right? Sure, you got first Riddler, first Penguin, or whatever for early detective and early Batman, but that's why those books are so expensive because if you are in chasing Golden Age keys, it's not like Marvel. DC does not have 50 or 100 of those books. They don't. Batman have a dozen or so. So everybody want them. And then after all the keys for Batman and Detective, then all you have left are the cool covers, right? The one with the Jokers. That's why they're expensive. That's why they're hard to find. People hold on to them. I got about 5 more minutes to go, so I will try to answer some question real quick before I buck out of here. Nick, what do you think about Golden Age books and their value? And what's the best grade to buy? Um, First of all, I think for many Golden Age books, there is not a whole lot of good investment in there. That's just my personal feelings, okay? I certainly can be wrong, but I don't follow Timely enough. I don't follow EC enough to know what kind of appreciation in those books. But when it comes down to say like Batman, I follow Batman very closely. And outside of Batman 1 and 2, Batman 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, many of those Batman early books, and you think they will be worth a lot of money, they not. They not. Sure, I'm not saying that they cheap. I'm not saying that, oh, you can buy a Batman 4 for 500. I'm not saying that. But if you look at the price, the value, the appreciation of those books, they're not spectacular. They are nowhere near anything that the Silver Age books keys are doing. And I don't think that trend is going to change. The mega keys, the mega golden age keys, like Batman 1, Superman 1, Detective 31, those books, sure, nobody's going to dispute that those books are crazy as far as crazy price. And the return can be even better in years and decades to come. No one is disputing that. But when it comes down to book like Batman 7, Batman 6, I have them. I bought them for the love of Batman. It has nothing to do with the potential return because I can say with all honesty, the return on them are pretty average. It, I didn't lose money. Okay, I'm not saying that buying Batman 7 or 8 10 years ago was a bad idea. I'm not saying that, but I could have put money into many other books that would have a much greater return. All right, so buy those books because I love them. I want them. I didn't buy them for the investment return. And when it comes down to golden age, I think that apply to a lot of books. Okay, um, they can be stagnate, flat, dead money for many years or decade to come. I would not recommend buying golden age in a genre that has no future, like Western. Oh, I'm sure that just offended a bunch of people. How dare you say, don't invest in golden age Western books? Yeah, I'm saying that. Don't do it. Okay. I have half a dozen 10 cents golden age Western. They're fun to keep, they're fun to flip around, look at, but they are no investment of any sort. Okay. Um, let's see. I think I answered all the questions, so I might be wrapping things up. There's a lot of things to talk about as far as investing in comic books, but today let's recap the main themes. Today is knowing when something is cheap. You have to do your homework. I cannot stress enough that knowing something is keys is not enough. Okay, I don't care if you can rattle off 80 keys on top of your head that you memorize because you have watched 2 dozen YouTube videos of other people hyping up all the keys. Knowing 80, 100 keys off the top of your head is not anything that I'm impressed with. I am more impressed if you can tell me if something is cheap. That's more important. That's more important for me. It's more important for you when it comes down to like making money in this hobby is knowing value. We all know what the keys are, right? Come on. As offensive as what I just said is, that's true. Do I need to know FF1 is the first appearance of the Fantastic Four? Holy shizzle. Who repeat that in a video? You know who. Yes, I'm picking on some people, yes, but you have to agree. Saying something like X-Men 1, the first appearance of the X-Men, really? Really? Who did not know that? It's insane. It's excess use of words that's not needed. Yes, Simon Comics, the Bullseye books that you have in your collection, those are pretty cool. Now, I have no idea about the value or potential return of that book, but bottom line is you bought them because you love them, and that's important. Okay, it's when it comes down to this hobby, there are a fine line between buying something because you love it and buying something for the investment return. Knowing that is half the battle. Okay, as long as you understand that you bought something for the reason, then it's okay if the book does nothing. Does it matter if Bullseye double in value? You love it. You don't care. You're not going to sell it unless you find a duplicate copies. That's a different story, right? But at the end of the day, buying something for the right reasons make it easier for you to deal with what you're going to do with that book later. Okay, a lot of people, I have said this many times before I go, buying is easy, selling is difficult. Okay, same thing, whether it's the stock market or the comic book market. You talk to any traders, buying is easy, selling is hard. That's why when it comes down to selling, traders like me use strict discipline. Okay, there is no, oh, I'm gonna be a little bit greedy and hold on to it a little bit longer. No, when it's time to sell at the price you want to sell, you sell. You do not. Greed has no room. Greed is not a formula for success when it comes to trading, comic books, or stock. Anyhow, it's 9:32. It's time for me to say goodbye and time for me to make breakfast because I finished my second coffee. So it's time to go. Have a good day. It's actually raining. It's dark as heck. It's like 7 p.m. right now. Okay, the way the weather is in Sarasota. So time for me to make breakfast and enjoy my morning and watch some football. Anyhow, have a good day. See you. I can't say I will be around next Sunday, but if the stock market activities require me to show up and talk a little bit about the market, I will. This Wednesday is December 12th. It marked the 6 year anniversary of me on YouTube. So I will call the Wednesday night chat the 6 year anniversary on YouTube chat. And if you have any question, feel free to ask me. I will make it a one of those chat that I will answer personal questions or any questions. Just don't ask me stupid question. Is Hope 181 a good investment? I refuse to answer stupid questions. And as far as who determine if something is stupid, me. Bye.